So hello and welcome to another video. So today what I was going to do is I was going to repaint the bottom, the feet section, my manual tyre changer. It's getting really corroded at the bottom and it's got to be done because the Chinese paint job that was done on it was so high quality. So I thought it would give me an opportunity to show you how these things are mounted. What I've done is I've just zipped the mounting bolts. There's 4 of them. There's one there, there's one there, another one here and another one there. I can just lift these out. So there's just four mounting bolts on it. I'll lift this off so you can see things. So that's where it was mounted. So the way we are, attaching this to a concrete floor is we're using drop-in anchors. I'll grab one over here. These little things. So I got these from Screwfix, and the size is M10 times 40. So what you want to be doing is those 4 holes. Get a masonry drill bit, and it's 14mm. And you want to be going down exactly 40mm because these have got to be set to the level of the concrete. You don't want them any further down because you'll miss the thread on it and you'll not catch it. So that's how they're set in. So once they're dropped into the hole, what you use is you use a setting tool. See this little plastic bit here, and it's got splayed feet in it, and you can see there's a wedge inside. Now what happens is once you've got that set in at 40mm, you then take a setting tool, put it in it and smack it until you don't get any more movement out of that wedge in it. It will splay the bottom out and it will set itself into the concrete. So that's how these are put in. Now my unit never moves, but you can have a limited amount of garage space, and what will happen is you want to change a tyre but you don't want this thing in the way all the time. Well, I've got a big workshop, so it always sits there, it never moves. But if you want to move it, what you want to be doing is, what I've done is, we'll have a look at the bolts. These are the bolts that came out, they're past their sell by date, so they're going to get changed. So that's M10, and the thread size, the length of the thread, is 50mm. So I've taken 100 millimeter bolts and I've cut them to the thread length is 50mm. But at the same time, what I've done is I've cut the end off, because I've got a bit of thread at the end. So I think that's about maybe 15-20mm. So I've simply cut the end off, and then I've got the angle grinder, and I'll cut myself a little slot in the end to make 4 grub screws. So what that'll do is, if you need to take this off, and stick the changer in the corner, what you don't want to be doing is leaving the holes exposed, because in a short space of time all that's going to happen is they're going to fill up with crap, water, rust, and you'll never be able to use the anchor points again. So what you need to do is try and make yourself up a set of grub screws, and simply the grub screw goes in. These are a bit crusty because this thing's never been off. The grub screw goes in, I'll need to oil this one a bit, but you get the gist. Just a couple of small grub screws, and what that'll do with the grub screw is you want to screw it down until you're level with the deck. That way the anchor point, you can use it, simply take the grub screws back out, whack the tyre changer back on again, use it, take it back off, put the grub screws back in, and stick the tyre changer away. Now, for a lot of folks, they might not use this for 6 months, say, and you know, what you want to be doing is you want to be putting some like copper grease on this. I mean, they're zinc coated, but you want to put a bit of copper grease on it to make sure that they come out with ease. So that's how the thing is mounted. I think I've covered everything. And when you're changing it, you'll get a certain amount of crap in these as well, but just take an airline if you got one and give it a little blast out. So let's move on to the tyre changer itself, and we'll show you a couple of mods that I've done to the tyre changer itself, just to, you know, beef it up and make it work a bit better. So the first thing that we done is, when we were using the tyre changer when it was mounted, what we noticed is between this base plate here and these legs, there was a certain amount of flex. It would flex like that, and over time all that would happen is you would get metal fatigue in this base plate and it would crack and it would fail. So what we've done to stop that movement and beef it up is simply just weld these corner sections here on every corner, and it eliminates any movement in the base at all. So that's one thing to do. All you need to be doing is knocking the paint off. You can see one over here. This one's never been done because it's never been fitted. We just simply knock the paint off there, get the welds done on these corners, and that eliminates any movement in the base. What I will say is, if you do this mod, what you want to be doing first is mount it into the deck, because what you'll find is if you start using a welder on this and heating it up, you'll get movement in the legs, and when you go and put it back on the deck and bolt it in, you know, you might get movement and it won't line up correctly. So that was welded while it was bolted down, and I'd recommend doing that. So the other mod that we done is, what I found on these, we'll have a look at this one. So this is the bead breaking section, and what you can see is, you can see the gauge of this metal here and these bars. Some beads are quite difficult to break, you know, depending on how crusty the bead is on the wheel, and with the difficult ones, I was noticing that these were starting to get a bit of, you know, they've got a bit of bend in them, and I thought, well, if I keep going at this rate with them and them bending like that, they're not going to be long for this world. So what we've done is, I'll show you on the one that's been done. We simply used, I think it was 25mm flat bar, and we just beefed it up. You know, we just put a bit flat bar alongside it, and we've welded them on. But these, you know, with these beefed up ones, there is no movement ever. You know, you can be hauling on this thing and putting your full weight on it, and it will never move. So that's one thing. And another thing to do with this is the tongue. The tongue's weak on the original ones. You can see the gauge of metal that's on it. It's no the best, and you know, while these things are bending, this thing's starting to buckle a bit as well. So all we've done is we've just beefed up the back yet. We've just simply taken, I think it was a couple of bits of flat bar, and welded them on. And this is crusty. These have been on for a long time, but you can see, you know, it's just 2 bits of flat bar with a couple of slices in them to mould it to the shape of that head, and they're welded on. Nothing fancy, just strengthen it up, and it stops this thing from, you know, crinkling up and creasing itself. And really, that's about it. In the next wee while, what I'm going to do is, there's a demonstration video coming out for, it's the Mark II Bulldog tyre lever. I'm not going to go into it at this point, but you do get a lever with these things, and I can safely say that they're absolutely useless And when I got this, I tried to use the lever that came with it, and it was not happening. So I spent quite a bit of time developing a lever that would work with these. So we'll be doing a demonstration on that. The levers are just at the end of production, and they're needing coat decals and painted and decals and such like. So we'll get that maybe in the next few weeks. So if you're subscribed to the channel, you know, have a look out for that one. So that's really all I wanted to cover in this video, just how to mount these correctly. What I would say is avoid anything like, I've seen a few videos, somebody's attempted to mount it on a pallet, and as soon as they start using it, they catapult themselves somewhere when it all goes wrong. There's movement in the pallet. It's no good. The thing has to be bolted to a concrete floor, and there has to be, in order to get the tyre running off correctly, it's got to be, it's got to be a stable platform. As simple as that. So we'll leave it at that for this one. As I say, keep your eye out for the Bulldog tyre lever demonstration with one of these manual tyre changers, and give me a like, a wee comment, come on, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye bye.